Hey, Alice.
Oh. I was just fixing my text her.
How you feeling today? Yeah, my back started feeling like fire ants again. When it does that, I just can't hardly get it to stop. I've been just having all kind of troubles. Got to get some food tomorrow. Yeah. What got hot today? Yeah. Prayingly. Are you still doing that group chat thing or what?
Yeah, I just did.
Don't just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu.
If your basement walls look like this, you've got water damage. That's a problem. Whether it's moisture.
CMP has finally confirmed it. The exact movements of Daniel Martel in the hours before Lilly and Jack Sullivan vanished.
Yeah.
And it's far more disturbing than anyone imagined. 4 months.
Man, it was 106 today. Hey, Lynn, how you doing, man? Well, Lynn says, hey. Hey, Lisa, how you doing, man? 106 today. And the heat index is around 110. You know, our little old fire, like little heater went out at the end of the month. Got where it's like stripped out or something other. This time I want to get us hooked up on that natural gas. That way we can go over them little heaters too much. Get that over with.
Asking the same questions. Where was Daniel? What was he doing in those crucial hours? And more importantly, why do so many pieces of his story still not add up? Now, investigators have pieced together a minute-by-minute timeline. And within that timeline lies a chilling silence, a missing 45 minutes, and contradictions so severe they could shatter.
You hit a deer, but no damage done. That was pure luck. You be careful.
Everything the public has been told about this case. It all begins just before noon on May 7th. At 12:15 p.m., Daniel Martel's phone suddenly goes dark. No calls, no texts, no location data. For nearly an hour, he becomes a ghost in the digital world. Investigators now say this blackout period, from 12:15 to 1:03 p.m., could be the dark heart of the case. Because when his phone finally reconnects, it doesn't ping anywhere near a busy street, a family home, or even a familiar route. Instead, the signal emerges near a wooded area just a short drive from the Sullivan residence, a place that locals describe as isolated, quiet, and unsettling. At 1:03 p.m., Daniel's phone comes his movements grow even more confusing. By 1:12 p.m., data shows him circling back toward the Sullivan home. At this same moment, witnesses report seeing a man, matching Daniel's description, pacing near the edge of the property. One local described
So when Rudy said, "Yeah, off my road," I bet that was a side road. And I bet they tried to twist the system by having numbnuts drive around, park, and then his drive around, park, and then back home. I'm telling you, these kids tell me like it is. They can't nobody tell it no better than these kids and the good Lord, I'm telling you. Because these don't want to tell the truth about nothing. But now this was uploaded several days ago, so it's all old stuff. Hey, Sabina. How you doing, love? Sabina says hello.
Hey, Sabina.
his behavior as restless, like he was waiting for something or someone. Then comes the most disturbing twist. Between 1:20 and 2 p.m., Daniel's vehicle is spotted on multiple cameras. Some cameras place him closer to the town center, others closer to a back road near the river. The problem? These routes don't line up with the explanation he later gave investigators. Daniel told RCMP he was running errands, that he was simply driving to clear his head. But the pattern his
See what I'm talking about? Just dumb as a box of rocks.
vehicle created, darting back and forth, looping across town, disappearing and reappearing on camera, looks far less like someone on an errand and far more like someone deliberately buying time. And then there's the missing 45.
Well, what I think is he had an idea that numbnuts would try to move the children so he could be the one to claim it. Hey, Cassie. How you doing? So he was on a side road, not far from his home, just like the kid said. And that's why they were both doing so much traveling, because he was afraid that he would move children, and which he did. And that's what set Daniel off.
5 minutes. In that window between his phone going offline and then suddenly coming back online, no one can verify his movements. No one can confirm his story. And in cases like this, silence is often the loudest alarm bell of all. But our CMP's timeline doesn't stop there. By 2:30 p.m., Daniel's phone is pinging again, this time miles away from the Sullivan home. By then, Lily and Jack are already gone. Vanished. In a matter of hours, 2 children disappeared without a trace, and the man who last saw them has a timeline full of blackouts, contradictions, and unexplained detours. Witness statements complicate things even further. One neighbor recalls seeing Daniel's truck parked at an unusual angle near the tree line behind the Sullivan property. Another insists they heard shouting, a man's voice, and the sound of children, sometime around 12:45 p.m., precisely during the period when Daniel's phone was off the grid. And then there's Logan, a key witness whose recent statement.
They didn't hear children, they heard a child. Jack was done gone before they ever got out of the house. And I bet you a nickel Lily noted. I bet the whole time she was in that basement, she was down there with his body. That's low as you can go right there.
Treatment has added a chilling new layer. Logan told investigators that he not only saw Daniel that afternoon, but also heard something in the woods that still haunts him. He described it as sharp, urgent, and unmistakably human, the kind of sound that doesn't fade from your memory. This account, when placed against RCMP's newly confirmed timeline, paints a deeply unsettling picture. If Daniel's phone was off, his car seen circling, and witnesses heard voices in the woods, then the question becomes clear. Was that silent 45 minutes the very window when everything went wrong? The contradictions don't end there. Investigators have noted that Daniel's story about his movements has shifted over time. At first, he claimed he never left the property. Later, he admitted to short drives. Now, with RCMP confirming his exact movements, those drives were neither short nor simple. They were erratic, inconsistent, and in the eyes of many, deliberate. The public has been quick to react.
Tester Up is a scam. I only made $81. Okay.
Online forums are ablaze with theories. Some believe Daniel used that blackout period to stage a cover-up. Others argue he may not have acted alone, that someone else could have been with him, aiding or directing his movements. And then there are those who believe Daniel's behavior, while suspicious, doesn't necessarily prove guilt, pointing out that stress, panic, and confusion can make people act in ways that appear incriminating even if they're not. Yet the timeline remains the timeline. Phones don't lie. Cameras don't fabricate routes. And witnesses, despite memory gaps, tend to remember the things that disturb them most. In this case, all three, digital evidence, surveillance, and eyewitness accounts, converge to highlight the same person, the same hours, and the same chilling silence. And that silence is where investigators are now focusing their efforts. Because in missing persons cases, time is everything. Every minute lost is a lead gone cold. Every gap in a timeline is a doorway to speculation. And every contradiction from a potential suspect becomes a weight that either pulls the truth closer or buries it deeper. So what does this mean for Lilly and Jack Sullivan? It means the story isn't over. Far from it. Our CMP's confirmation of Daniel Martel's movements is not closure. It's not the final word. It's an opening, one that could finally break the case wide open. Because now the questions are sharper, the contradictions more obvious, and the public pressure heavier than ever. Will our CMP act on these revelations? Will Daniel Martel finally face direct charges, or will investigators continue to hold back, waiting for one final piece of undeniable evidence? And if that evidence never comes, what then? Do we accept silence as the only answer? For the families, for the community, and for everyone who is...
Well, see, where he screwed up at, what came to that? Well, what he's screwed up about, see, now I hate to say this, but I mean they played a good game here. They really did. But it's because they're in such a rural area. But yeah, Daniel was he so hung up on Malaya. He that wasn't love, that was lust. And he did everything that he could possibly think of to do to keep her out of hot water. But when numbnuts went and messed everything up and told everything, and Malaya started telling on Daniel, then Daniel turned his back on Malaya. And he plainly said that we all sit down and try to figure out what we need to do to get rid of all the evidence. But then again, he did not know that them phones was tapped. So from when he said that was a dead confession. And then when everything was said and done, Malaya was just outside of herself. And Numbnuts and Logan, well, Numbnuts was talking to Logan about it and blew the case wide open. And he'd been changing his stories and his timelines and everything. And of course they have. All of them's already a week off. But hey, Connie, you know, yeah, well, he's tried everything. Like I said, he's even went as far as saying that a bear come in the house, grab the kids, stuff like that. I mean, they're just ignorant stuff. But what he's done, he's messed around and told lies after lies after lies. But he don't realize that his lies was confessions. Hey, MZ. So that's why they got him. I mean, like I said, this is a while back. They done got him. His bus running and Malaya's. And even though she's got a lawyer, if they don't, I mean, if they're not giving no bonds or whatnot for murder, then Logan, uh, Numbnuts, Daniel, uh, Malaya's mom, uh, Daniel's mom, probably Daniel's brother, Cody, even like the ones I just called off that even knew about it and did not report it. Yeah. And that's what Lily said and said. She said they sit and they all talked about what to do to dispose of us. I guess they got their wish because we're here no more. And that was the very words from Lily. So these children at the age of 4 and 6 knowed that they were not loved. You take a 6-year-old that can say that. I guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. Could you imagine how that made that child feel? So the best thing that could ever happen to these children, I believe, took place last night. Crossing over, you wash your pain away. You're not stuck with all that right in your head all the time. And people got to remember, just because people cross over, that's just accepting your fate. You're not going nowhere, not until the good Lord comes back. But it saves you. There's a lot of people that don't get that opportunity. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just never get to see it. Period. But little children like that, they don't know right from wrong. So they're heaven bound regardless. Yeah, well, what had happened is all this time alone they've been abusing the kids. But what had happened was she blew up. She got pissed, like, and Daniel got pissed off, and she told her new boyfriend he could stay the night there. because apparently she was working late. Well, the racket that the mom heard was once Malaya was already home, and she took her anger out on the children, especially Jack. And that's when they sat down and like, all right, let's make a plan on what to do here and get rid of this evidence. We can make it look like they were either kidnapped or they just wandered off in the woods, and we have no idea. If they can't find them, they can't charge us. Well, a little late on that part. No, like Lily said, she said it wasn't about a mile or two in, and I asked if they were on the road or on a side road. She said, yeah, our road. And I said, was it a back road? And she said, yeah. And that road that he was parked on is not far down the street. Turn back left. So he did more walking than he did driving. And the thing of it was, Daniel and Logan had to tend to that. But then there you go, you got Lily. So I'm figuring, to probably my best knowledge, I'm sure she was probably, her death was more than likely suffocation as well. Which little Jack broke his neck, but he's a little in bones, just fragile. And it may have broke hers too. They could have used a belt. They could have just used a pillow, whatever. The tales that they told about him going down the stairs and then she come back upstairs alone, that's stupid. If your child fell down some stairs, you're going to know it. So that dog didn't hunt. And she said that she screamed at Jack so loudly. Well, yeah, even if Lily was asleep, she would have heard that. She would have got up. What the incriminating part was on the phone tap was plainly stating to Logan about Daniel and that she knows too much. So I guess they had to do another route to do the same thing again. Then they backtracked and turned off their phones so there wouldn't be another ping. Then come on back to the house, and then maybe he was just pacing up and down the side of the road there, walking around, making sure there wasn't no cars coming, whatnot. Nobody stopping in there checking. I mean, they like I said, they tried to play a good game here. But they let the wrong ones in. And now, see, charges are already slapping on them. And once, well, they may already have it. They may already have the charges, just not put out to the public. That's what they said yesterday. They just called off like 4 or 5 charges that they're charged with. But when it comes back, the smothering and Jack broke neck and things like that, I mean, it's going to be murder one. I mean, that's 2 premeditated murders on a minor, on a child. Then, not counting messing around fooling with a corpse and then fooling around, messing up the investigation. Hey, Tina. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, so they're screwed. They're screwed. Um, I think they're probably some of the things that they said the other day. Said there's some things that we'll go ahead and tell y'all, and then there's some things that we won't. And I think we found out some of the things that they would not tell. But there's going to be more involved because they knew the whereabouts, they knew what happened. Um, I mean, some of them that, like the moms, the biological father, Cody, um, Numbnuts, all these people that Malaya's mom, I mean, anybody that had any idea of what has happened will be brought in for interrogation. And if they have enough, then they can get them for uh, um, what's that called? Uh, not not reporting a death, whatever all that is. And yeah, I mean they know life's over for them. No, didn't care a bit. But now, hey Pamela, but now he cares because his butt in jailhouse. But like I said, once that goes to a grand jury, they'll I don't know what uh, channel that'll be for up there in Canada. Um, Down here, if we hear any news from other places in the U.S., we hear it like on channel 48, 31, 19, 54, things like that. So we all need to get a really good idea of what newscast or what kind of newscast and their names, so we can jot them down. That way, whenever they get ready to put everything out to the public, then we can all sit around and watch it. And heck, we'll put it on the big screen. We'll sit and watch it all together. And we'll see how they act and who pouts and who don't and who gets the most of this and that and whatnot. And let me tell you something. Believe it or not, the mothers, and the grandparents, like Malaya's mom, Daniel's mom, and stuff. They're gonna get in trouble too, just not as serious as the others. Yeah, that's right. So, with that being said, when 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 this happens, they're going to let each person tell their own deal, or they're not going to speak. They'll try to let their lawyer speak. If they can't hire one to be appointed to them. Now that's the way it is here in the U.S. If you cannot afford, send me a clip on it, Dana. Uh, some kind of something that we can watch instead of having to read. Uh, they they will get a lighter sentence, yes. But when they're done, there's nobody going to have anything to do with them people anymore. They wouldn't be able to be out in public without. Yeah, okay. They they uh they wouldn't be able to be out in public around people because people would shame them and I mean, they're going to be disgraced from here till the day that they take their last breath. And then up there, they'll probably still be hated. You can't mistreat children and just get by with it. At some point in time, it's going to turn around and bite you in the butt. So, and I care less what happened to them. You know, but when they said that there was no death penalty in Canada, well, that kind of eased me up a little bit because that's too easy for them. But I'm sure they wouldn't last too long in there. Like I said, Malaya, first time she gets a chance, she's going to commit suicide. And it wouldn't surprise me a bit if numbnuts don't. And with nothing really being said yet about numbnuts too much, Daniel may have caught him somewhere. And he may be somewhere in the woods himself. I mean, I know it's that, well, that would be times two. By that time, they'd be dead anyway. You know, if he crossed Daniel's path, like I said, I wouldn't know for sure, but it wouldn't. You be careful. They might find him somewhere in the woods himself, yeah, or in a ditch somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure if they was to get him around Daniel would kill him. They would be putting Malaya on suicide watch. Yeah. Now they ain't got no, well, they ain't got to worry about it no way because they're up in the jailhouse. This is it. This is it. You know. Other except when they go to court. I mean, this thing is blew up so big that, you know, of course they're going to go before a grand jury and they'll decide their fate there. But the thing of it is if we can find the time and the date that they're going to do this, like I said, we can all sit and watch it together. So much meanness. A child killer, they probably wouldn't be. They probably won't make it long in there, no way. Getting threats. Well, most prisons will not tolerate baby killers, period.
Followed this case from the beginning, the hope remains that the truth will not stay hidden forever. But hope alone won't solve it. What will solve it are facts. Facts that cut through silence, facts that confront contradictions, facts that lead to accountability. Because one thing is certain, the exact movements of Daniel Martel in the hours before Lily and Jack vanished have been revealed. And they are not the movements of a man with nothing to hide. So as this investigation pushes forward, we are left with one haunting reality. The silence of those missing 45 minutes still speaks louder than anything Daniel Martel has ever said. And until those minutes are explained, the mystery of Lily and Jack Sullivan will remain one of the darkest, most disturbing puzzles in recent memory. For weeks, speculation has filled the silence. The disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan has left an entire community paralyzed with grief, fear, and unanswered questions.
I don't understand how they can call it like that. It's one thing I've never understood. There's only one time someone actually came and did something about it. Back in 2016, I do believe it was. I've always, when you listen to them, they'll say that they'll take any information. It don't make no difference if it's from spectators, spiritual side of things, whatever. They will take that information and go with it. Well, 9 times out of 10, they don't. They don't. They want to turn a deaf ear to it. Well, back then in 2013, there's a woman come up from Montgomery. She did a sketch of what I seen, and that she was out in a field. I could even see what she was wearing, and the little girl, she runs fast, she run out of one of her shoes. 2 days later, they found her. It was just luck that she was alive. She was about 14 or 15, and a bunch of schoolboys got after her, and she ran. And when she ran, she fell in this little terrace thing here. Well, by dark, she had to be quiet, because it finally had got dark. But what had happened was she got stuck on there's some branches down there. One of them branches stuck in her leg, so she was having to be quiet about that and keep it from bleeding out so much too. And when they were out driving them fields and things, and somebody was cutting down snap beans, and got to that little gully there, and they seen her laying there. So they found her, and that, it's been 13 so far that I have helped find. I know that's not a lot, but at least it's a number. And it was a perfect match with a sketch. They sent me a paper. It's in the thing in the room that we found up that was in one of those big old photo album thing. And it really felt good, to know that we had one child still, alive, because some were not. And it makes a difference. But it also, as long as they're found, some people get comfort from that, Malaya wouldn't make it no 8 years. She'll commit suicide. She's not one of them that can be.
But behind the scenes, while the public clung to rumors and whispers, investigators were piecing together a timeline. Daniel Martel's final hours before the children vanished. Every phone ping, every camera sighting, every witness statement has been dissected.
I'm here in downtown Burbank to ask people if they want to make quick in under 2 minutes. Excuse me.
Hi.
You want to make some quick?
Sure, yeah.
Go my solar alert.
Cross-checked and lined up against his own words. And now, for the first time, the truth about where he was, who he spoke to, and what he did is finally beginning to surface. But even with all these details, there is one part of the puzzle that refuses to fit. A gap. A missing 45 minutes. A window of time that no one can account for, and that very well may hold the key to this entire case. According to our CMP records, Martel's phone activity tells a haunting story. At 12:15 p.m., his phone suddenly goes dark. No calls, no texts, no location data. For nearly an hour, he vanishes from the digital grid. And then, just as abruptly, at 1:03 p.m., his phone pings back to life, this time right near the Sullivan home. That blackout, that missing stretch of time, has haunted investigators since day one. What was Martel doing? Where was he? And why does that silence align so closely with the time frame in which Lily and Jack were last known to be safe? Witness
And two, in the location where these children are, or was, that he knew that area. He knew it. And he knew probably very seldom anybody would ever walk that trail again. And it may have been because of that old bridge down in there. I don't know. But I believe he kept coming back to make sure that, you know, they're still there. And I don't know why in the world you would think that a shallow grave is going to keep anything out. Nowadays, you're in a coffin. You have a what's that? You have a kind of like a lid, it goes over the top of that. That's about 2,200 pounds. That covers your coffin, a vault. And believe it or not, some animals can dig down deep enough to scratch at the bottom of the coffins. Now, it's rarely heard of anymore, but that's when used to they would put you 6 feet under. Now the regulation is only 4 feet, so you're only 26 inches from the top of the surface of the ground. And being in a shallow grave, what the heck ain't they got to do? You know, wind blow just right, coming with a good rain, everything's gonna be right there in the open. Little things that they just don't think about.
have offered conflicting accounts. Some place Martel near McPherson's Lake during that missing window, a desolate spot with dense woods and countless hiding places. Others insist they saw him back at the Sullivan house, almost as if nothing had happened. The contradictions have made the truth feel slippery, always just out of reach. But then came something no one expected, the words of a local witness named Logan. Logan stepped forward with a statement that has changed everything. He claims that on the night of May 7th, just hours before the children were reported missing, he saw Daniel Martel outside.
See? They said 7th. He said 7th. Not the 1st or 2nd. So see, he's understanding the timeline, but apparently there's nobody looking into that timeline phrase that I want to talk about between the 1st and the 2nd. See, he even knows that this went on a week before 911 was ever called. You see how fast they put pressure on to find Jaden Spicer? That's what they should have done. Sullivan's kids. Yes, exactly. I mean, time is very, very crucial. You know, that's why I wished I would have been brought in earlier on Summer's case. But once I started realizing what child I was hearing, and she said her name to me, it was kind of funny because me and Raymond, we were doing an old abandoned nursing home, and I tried to do the shave and haircut deal. You know the. Well, I was trying to get somebody to do the last two. They wasn't doing nothing. So they had a handrail all the way up beside the wall, you know. And I kicked that rail to make a loud noise. And I heard a little girl say, "Kick it." So I come home and I played it, and I was doing it live. And I said, "Who's the little child, the girl that uh, said kick it a while ago at the nursing home?" And she said, "I'm Summer." And I said, "Summer Wells?" She's, "That's it." And from then on, she told everything in detail, and it will turn your stomach. Um, but see, if we could have got that sooner, things wouldn't have went so far. These right here, what threw it off was, and Logan's the only one that's actually telling the truth about the timeline. But yeah, a week prior, before the 911 call, just like I just said, not the first and the second. And you know, if they could have did that then, well, within probably 2 days, three max, there'd been, you know, done found, um, taken care of. But no, everybody wants to throw off timelines. It's crazy. Malaya alone could do the act. Daniel alone could do the act unless they were poisoned. Hey, Patricia, I do believe that they would be methamphetamine in her system at least, and it wouldn't surprise me none if fentanyl was not also in her uh, system. But since she knew too much, they probably didn't want to brutally do it. So they got her so sedated that when she laid on the bed, they could use a pillow. That did it. So when everything comes back from the coroner's office and it tells exactly, when we listen to this, when we listen to the court hearing, they're going to tell it in detail, and they will not blur it out because it'll be going in front of a Supreme Court. Now, the parts where they have a little TV in there and play the footage of where things were found and stuff, they'll show it at a distance, but they won't show it up close. Yeah, I mean it's things just bad all the way around. Okay, 2 lives. Yeah, when you get so weak and your breath is, if you watch anybody die, you know it starts with the stomach stops, then the chest stops, then the nose, and then when the nose stops, that's it. And before it got to that point, I believe that's when the children started saying pillow, pillow, pillow. Um, and you don't have to have earbuds in to hear them talk about a pillow being used. Um, so just to make sure, they used a pillow, period, point blank. There's nobody that can listen to these shows and tell me that they don't hear pillows. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's like they just let her drip off to sleep and did it that way. Because I guess you just didn't have it in her to do it, gruesomely. But yet, she can pick up her child and choke and whip him and throw him up against the tub or the counter or the toilet or something, break his little old neck. That's what I'm talking about. That's what they're waiting on. Like I said, they've got 5 or 6 charges already, but they want the main source to know the precise way of death. If the decay is too bad, they'll never know. They'll never know. But they know already that they're the ones that did it. They're responsible. It was their responsibility to take care of these children, so they're held accountable. And plus, they was the biological mother, stepfather, and the other people that was around as well. So, why don't you go lay down, man?
I'm not tired.
Well, I've heard you yawn.
I keep yawning. I've been yawning all day.
You want to go make you some cold coffee or something?
I'm not tired.
Don't let me keep you up. You getting sleepy?
I'm not tired.
Okay.
Not in the house, not tucked away with his partner, but outside, restless, pacing and smoking near the tree line. Logan insists he heard children's voices echoing faintly in the distance.
There you go. Let me a couple. Two. Are you gonna make them in the skillet or you gonna do it in the oven? You gonna do it in the skillet or the oven?
Skillet.
Okay, yeah, 2.
And then, just minutes later, he saw headlights. A second vehicle, briefly lighting up the gravel road before disappearing toward the lake. This detail directly collides with Martel's alibi. He told RCMP that during those crucial hours, he was inside with Malihia Brooks Murray, never leaving her side. But Logan's words paint a different picture. If Martel was outside, if he was connected to a second vehicle, why would he lie? What was he hiding? Investigators have not confirmed Logan's account publicly, but chatter behind the scenes suggests they are taking it seriously. RCMP.
But see, now this was a while back, but see, now they got Logan for knowing all this stuff and playing a part in messing with a corpse and destruction of a case. So, now his butt's grass. These bunch of people right here, these bunch of people right here are, and I hate to say this, but they're so ignorant. I don't know how they have a daily function. Yeah, they may be good at one thing or this and that and another, but lying and trying to do this and do that and corrupt this and corrupt that and tell that and tell this. Everybody can tell right off the top that nothing's making sense. She may have been a good little nurse or whatever she was at one of them places. He may have been good at shaking and baking, on his meth. But, over drugs and money and lust, You will wipe the children out. You will wipe the family out. You will not care. That's what drugs does to you. And it only do two things. Either put you in the jailhouse or put you under dirt. And that's it.
He has reportedly checked vehicle sightings in the area, canvassing for security footage that could match Logan's description. And that silence from official channels, that refusal to rule him out, speaks volumes. If Logan's words hold weight, the implications are chilling. One possibility is that Martel was using that missing time to move or conceal evidence. The other is that someone else was involved. Someone in that
They're nuts.
vehicle, someone who may have played a role in the disappearance. Either way, the timeline as the public knows it may no longer be accurate. Because if children's voices were truly heard near the woods that night, it suggests Lily and Jack may have been alive longer.
No, see. That more likely was Lily fighting. And there's a small chance that when Jack's neck got broke, that it did not kill him instantly. So he could have threw a fit out there as well. And the only reason I'm saying this, and I mean it, is because back in '97 I had a head-on collision, and I ended up getting a broke neck. My skull was detached from my top vertebra, and it was hanging on by a fraction of a hair. So it depends on how your neck gets broke before it either paralyzes you from neck down or takes your life. So with him being in pain, her being scared, and probably all druggy and carrying on, no wonder they're throwing a fit. You know, I mean, good grief. They're just children, babies. 6-year-old ain't, that's still a baby. I don't care how you look at it.
Than investigators have acknowledged. That revelation could unravel everything we thought we knew about when and how their fate was sealed. The missing 45 minutes grows darker the more it is examined. Was Martel working alone, frantically trying to cover his tracks? Or was this part of a coordinated effort, a secret shared between more than one person? And if that's the case, how deep does this conspiracy go? The RCMP has finally confirmed Martel's movements minute by minute, but the gaps in that timeline tell as much as the pings themselves.
Exactly.
He was accounted for in the early afternoon. He was accounted for after 1:03 p.m. But that silence in between remains a shadow, a void filled only by suspicion and dread. For the families, for the community, this revelation is both progress and torment.
He none of us did the driving, but he used a different vehicle for a while. Then Daniel and Logan was in Daniel's vehicle driving around for a good bit, and then he would turn his cell phone off, and then when he got pretty close back to the home, to his house, they'd turn it back on, and it would show that they were there. But there was gaps in between the loops. There would be that gap. So, yeah, they tried their best. Okay, I mean, but now it's biting them in the butt, and thank God for it. Okay.
Because at last, the vague outlines of that day are taking shape. Torment, because every new detail only raises darker questions. If Martel lied about where he was, what else has he lied about?
Everything.
If a second vehicle was there, who was driving it? And most painfully of all, if children's voices were heard that night, why didn't anyone reach them in time? The
Because they
truth
don't
is coming
nobody
into
want to get
focus,
involved.
but like a photograph half developed, it's blurry, incomplete, and haunting. The missing 45 minutes remain the dark heart of this case. And until that silence is broken, the fate of Lily and Jack will remain locked inside it. So, the question is this: will our CMP finally act on the testimony of witnesses like Logan? Or will his words be dismissed as just another fragment in a case already tangled in secrets, lies, and unanswered questions? Because the answers exist. They're out there, buried somewhere in those 45 minutes. The only question is whether investigators and the public are ready to confront what those...
Yeah, because see, that just near about when you leave their area, I mean, you can look at it. There's about one good field and about half a field, and then there's a road to the left. And when they turn on that road right there, they went down about a quarter mile. That's where it stopped. That's the same exact thing that these babies said. And how would they have known without somebody saying it ahead of time? These babies don't know nothing about no mile, but they said it. Said about a mile and a half in. Y'all all heard it. So apparently he was explaining about how far in it would be, plus a good walk from where they'd have to park. And I believe every time that they made that round, and when they was doing that, they turned the phone off so it wouldn't have no ping. Come around, do it again. Nobody coming down the road this way, right, left, nothing. Come on in, do it. Make sure everything's done. I think that they were put in the closet. I believe that they were there for a few days. I believe that they went ahead and went and dug the graves and got everything prepared. And that's the route they went. And then they got caught starting to burn the children's toys and clothing. Now, any parent, I don't care who you are, if you have one iota that your child may come back, why in the world would you burn your children's clothing and toys? You still had another baby. It could have played with that stuff because they know there was no return. I can tell you one thing. About a mile and a half in, yes. That's what Lily said. That's what Rose said. A mile and a half in. And if you watch that show, you'll hear it. A mile and a half in. That's exactly about what it was. Kids is smarter than some people give credit for. And two, it shows how intelligent they are because most time, like I said, I like to give a good month on somebody sometimes. But when it comes to like children, man, they're so full of energy anyway that, I noticed when we're talking to them, they'll do good for a little bit and then they slack off. And then after a little while, they pick back up and start talking again. That's because they have to use other spirit energy to build up. And for us, whoever's focused right in on what's been said, everything, that all that channels together and brings energy. That's why I say when I do sessions for someone, for that person to think of me and that whoever their loved one is all day the day that I'm going to do the session because it helps push energy. And when everybody is focused in and sitting there and listening for what these babies are saying and nothing's taking your mind off of it, they can have so much energy just like it right there. It's just amazing. Yeah, he is, because he admitted. He plainly admitted. And I don't know who he was talking to that time. Um, but the last time he did any talking, the phone was tapped too. But he was talking to Logan at the time. And you can plainly hear him say, Daniel can't stand the kids. Daniel can't stand the kids. You know what he already did? And he said, I was nervous about doing my polygraph for the 4 or 5 I've killed. And that, good night, love. Glad you got back safe. And, it it's just confession after confession. And once that happens, they can't turn a deaf ear of it and just let you wander around wondering if you're going to do it again. And I don't care what country you're in. So they've all, well, none of that started it, but everybody else fell victim to it as well.
Answers might reveal. At 11:12 a.m., surveillance from a
And
neighbor.
that's why they better have them in secluded cells, because if Daniel can get to him, Daniel will kill him.
Property captures Martell's truck parked along a dirt pull-off near McPherson's Lake. The timestamp is verified, but there's no footage of him stepping out, only the stillness of the vehicle before it disappears minutes later. Investigators believe this was the beginning of a window that has haunted this case ever since. By 12:15 p.m.,
Yes.
Martell's phone goes completely dark. No calls, no texts, no data. 4:48 long minutes. It's as if he vanished off the grid. Then, at exactly 1:03 p.m., the silence breaks. His phone reconnects, this time pinging off a tower less than half a mile from the Sullivan home. By 1:12 p.m., it registers another signal, consistent with him driving toward the property. This sequence has become the backbone of the timeline. A timeline.
See, if it pinged that he was already close to the his home, then why would there be a gap if he didn't turn around and go back and make sure everything was good, and then it ping again and it shows him coming back to the house? So he actually never did make it to the house. He just turned around and went back and made sure there was nobody looking, no cars coming nowhere, checked where they were, made sure that they were still covered up, doing the whole 9 yards. That it, yeah, that's it.
And that investigators continue to
blew
press
that.
against every statement, every witness account, and every inconsistency in Martell's story. What makes this even more disturbing is the overlap with community reports. Around the same time Martell's phone blinked back to life, neighbors recall hearing raised voices near the tree line. One witness describes seeing smoke drifting up from behind the shed. Another insists they caught a glimpse of Martell pacing outside, restless, chain-smoking, looking over his shoulder as if waiting for someone. None of this lines up with what Martell later told RCMP, that he had been inside the house with Malihia Brooksmurray, watching TV and barely leaving the living room. And then comes the vehicle. Multiple accounts mention headlights cutting through the gravel road between 12:30 and 1 p.m., right in the middle of Martell's missing window. A car, unfamiliar to neighbors, was seen pulling off toward the lake road. No license plate, no clear description, just a flash of light in the fog of an already fractured timeline. If that second vehicle was real, who was inside it? And more importantly, why has Martell never once acknowledged it? By 2:07 p.m., Martell's truck is confirmed parked back at the Sullivan residence. A neighbor walking her dog saw him unloading something from the rear bed. She describes it as a tarp or blanket, folded, heavy-looking.
That indeed is probably why they have a new tarp on top of the shed. Common sense goes a long way. Yeah.
Within an hour, Lily and Jack would be reported missing. The troubling part is that this timeline isn't just a chain of ordinary movements. It's a sequence filled with silence, contradictions, and unexplained encounters. And every time investigators try to press Martel for clarity, his answers fall apart. He claims he never left the house. Yet his phone, his vehicle, and now multiple witnesses all say otherwise. So the question becomes, what happened in those missing...
But remember, his mama plainly states, I know my kid didn't do anything. I was out here watching these kids at 6:30, wondering why Daniel and Malaya wasn't out here with them, and all this, and I heard a little holler and carry on, and I looked and the gate was open, and just they knew all about it. And yeah, they're going to get fined for it. They may do some time, but not like the rest of them. And it would serve them right. So, more power to them.
45 minutes. Was Martel meeting someone by the lake? Was he hiding evidence? Or was he moving the children themselves before the official call of their disappearance ever reached RCMP? This reconstructed timeline isn't just detail. It's the map of a crime, one step at a time, narrowing in on the truth Martel refuses to admit. And if RCMP truly has confirmed this sequence beyond doubt, then the clock is ticking on how much longer Martel can hide behind silence. By 12:15 p.m., Daniel Martel's phone connects briefly to a tower near McPherson's Lake, just 3 kilometers from a wooded trail that RCMP would later swarm with search teams, cadaver dogs, and forensic units. That single ping stands out, not because it proved much at the time, but because of what happened next. At exactly 12:16 p.m., the device goes completely dark. No calls, no texts, no data usage. 4:47 long minutes. It's as if Martel and his phone simply vanished into thin air. And then, silence. That silence is chilling because in the digital age, people rarely go completely offline unless they want to. Phones die, sure. Signals drop, sometimes. But investigators have pointed out that Daniel's battery wasn't low. His phone didn't just lose service. It was deliberately turned off or placed somewhere without access. An intentional move, not an accident. At 1:03 p.m., the phone flickers back to life, this time pinging a tower closer to the Sullivan home. In those missing 47 minutes, Martel could have gone anywhere. He could have hidden something. He could have met someone. He could have moved the children. That void, that gap of time, has become the black hole at the center of this case. Witnesses later came forward saying they saw his vehicle near McPherson's Lake.
See, on the 7th would make more sense because that'd be a week prior to the 911 call. Then, on top of that, I wholeheartedly believe that these children either were given something, or it could have been after Jack got whipped and choked. I don't know, but I believe these children were in a closet for a period of time, at least for a couple of days till they figured out what to do. Then they took them, like I said, and they said, to the basement, to that basement. Well, she went on, and they are the whole 9 yards. So when she went and just did her thing with her friends and come back, and this and that and other, of course you're going to find some bad stuff. What, 100 bad diapers that was already in there that stinched up, just a mattress. Uh, what do you think's going to happen? And just giving some dry cereal every once in a while. And who did that? One of her friends, or Numbnuts one. They treated these children like animals. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just uncalled for.
Others claimed they spotted him walking along a tree line not far from the gravel road. And then, of course, there's Logan, the neighbor whose statement suggests Daniel wasn't alone during those hours. He describes voices in the dark, headlights from a second vehicle, and Martel pacing restlessly before vanishing into the woods. When investigators retraced Martel's steps, the 12:15 p.m. ping at McPherson's Lake took on new weight. It placed him dangerously close to the water, dangerously close to the wooded area that became ground zero for the search. And yet, our CMP have never confirmed what, if anything, they found there. So the question hangs heavy: what really happened in that window of silence? Because the time...
That's when Numbnuts went back and removed the bodies. But he moved them in a spot that he couldn't get back to in time, and somebody else found them. Yeah.
I expect. Back. Local authority.
Forest.
Your child.
Yeah.
There he is. Oh, it's
Late at night.
to far right. To an undercover agent post. Right. Send. Between Venezuela.
Jack Sullivan. Jack Sullivan. Hear me, love.
One.
Jack Sullivan. Hear me. Can you tell me if you were wrapped in a sheet and put in a red sleeping bag? Jack Sullivan, hear me, love. Can you tell me if you were put in a sheet and in a red uh, ba- mine's gone. Sleeping bag?
Posed. And by the home.
By the home.
And
Jack Sullivan, hear me, love. Jack Sullivan. You do? Did you? I'm JD. Did you ever get wrapped in a sheet and put in a red sleeping bag?
yeah.
Let the child
I was
speak.
fired.
She was a friend. Are you talking about Lily? Your sister Lily? She was more than just a friend. Were you ever wrapped in a sheet and put in a sleeping bag and taken to the forest? Rose, I'll let you answer that one. Okay.
For one day. We also
Fell sick. Lily Sullivan. Lily Sullivan, hear me, love.
yeah.
Were you done the same way? Were you ever put in a sheet and put in something and buried in the forest? Better yet, Lily Sullivan, were you buried in the forest? Yeah, I needed help.
Yeah, I suggest.
A nice jacket, yeah.
7.
No. Well, she's probably fixing to be. Lily, do you know who carried your body to the place you were buried? Durwood. And who else? Did Daniel and Logan help?
They showed up.
They showed up. Did Daniel and
In the
Logan?
shop.
Yeah, they buried Chuck. Did Daniel and Logan bury you in the forest, Lily?
What?
Next to a lake.
The what?
Lily Sullivan. Did Daniel and Logan put you in the forest close to a lake?
To walk beside
Till they were sighted? Okay.
Attack.
Lily Sullivan. Can you tell me how you passed and who caused it?
U.S.
Let her answer.
Peace Priest.
Lily? Can you tell me
Hey.
how you passed away? Hear me, love.
T.
It's okay to tell me. You can tell me anything. And I'll believe you 100%.
Legislature.
Honey Kelly.
Did you say the gentleman a bitch Malaya? Is that what you heard too?
I'm not sure what I heard.
I believe I heard a bitch Malaya.
The touch.
Good night. Tied you?
It is not that. It's.
I'm sure that
What else happened after being tied, Lily? What happened? And who tied you? Huh?
Break. Place where.
See?
Lily, stay focused and stay calm. Just talk to me. After they tied you, Lily Sullivan,
Three.
what did they do after you were tied? I know I did. You was what?
Occupy.
Were you
Because everything. And it needed.
in the back of the truck? She was too heavy? Put in the back of the truck.
The access.
Lily Sullivan.
Military.
Lily Sullivan. Questions of all questions. Can you tell me, Lily, who took your life?
Technology.
Let her speak.
Example, double.
Lily Sullivan. Who?
And
Wait a minute. I heard her say something. Who? Who took your life? Was it Daniel?
Victor's that.
We can answer.
Was it Mom?
Brooke, hey.
In the woods.
In the woods. Okay. Who?
Hero.
Lily Sullivan. Hear me, love. Who took your life? Was it Mom? Was it Daniel? Was it Logan?
Cool.
That's what I think I heard there. I need it to come from you, Lily. Who caused your death? Couldn't eat.
Yeah, more.
And Grandma?
Woman Cecil.
What did you just say? You think what?
Today.
Conditions, but.
What did you say happened in that shed? And around Grandma? What did you say? Lily.
Nice. Bill. Drug car.
Drove around. You said Lansfield. Are you trying to say Lansdowne Station?
These are
Lily. Are you meaning Lansdowne Station? I heard you say Lansfield. Yeah. Okay. Who caused you to pass away? Who did something horrible to you? And it's okay to tell me the name.
Yes. You go.
Took a minute or so. Did Mom do it?
Okay.
Lily, did Mom do it? Did Mom take your life? Bruce. Did Daniel have anything to do with taking your life?
Yes.
great people.
A great something. Closet. Yeah.
This lady.
Lily Sullivan. Do you believe Lily Sullivan?
Now.
Do you believe that you were starved to the brink of death?
I mean, vaping.
I know you told me while in the basement, sometimes you would have some dry cereal.
In the department.
Lansdowne. Did Mom and Daniel
Aside.
starve you to death? Did you not get enough to eat? That made sure of it. When you got so weak, is that
America to attempt you now. To have the day the top.
did Mom or someone
We can say
weak and sick? Okay, listen. Did Mom
Except
one day you eat pizza? Did Mom use a pillow on you
Mentation.
when you got weak? Did someone put a pillow over your face?
Of course.
I believe I heard something there. Can you repeat it? Lily Sullivan. Did someone put a pillow over your face when you were weak?
The proof.
Yeah. Could you tell me if it was Mom or Daniel or Logan or Durwood? Did Durwood ever put a pillow over your face?
That's
Again, it's okay to tell me anything, Lily. Your mom's already incarcerated in the jailhouse. Okay. She's gonna get in trouble for what she did. So no matter what you tell me, it's not gonna hurt Mom any worse. Okay. Did Mom put a pillow over your face when you were weak in the basement?
Yes.
And did you try to fight back? Did you try to fight back, Lily? Or were you already asleep? You think you was asleep? Okay. All right. Thank you for speaking with me,
it's Dominic.
Lily and Jack. You're awesome.
From
Broke neck, forest, child, late at night. Yes, need help. Durwood showed up. Till sided, tied me, couldn't eat. Grandma. So grandma knew that they wasn't getting fed, or grandma would not feed them. Yeah, yep, yeah. Did I think I was asleep? So, uh, these poor little babies. I would love for that bunch, or I wish I could go to Canada. I know this may sound far fetched, but let me tell you what I'd love to do. Okay. I would love to go to Canada, and I would like to find my very first session with these children and have them in 2 different rooms with a recorder playing over and over of what these children have been saying. And let it play until they're just drove into madness. Now, I know that sounds cold.
That does.
But let me tell you something. These children were malnourished, beaten, punished daily, literally forced to do no telling what all. For them to have to hear these children say these things about them would be good enough for them in my book. You just don't hurt a child. Hey, Carol, goes that tell in here, love. You guys want to try to share this video or this show here, and y'all all make sure that you throw a like up to it and listen back to it and see how much more you hear the next time you listen to it. I guarantee you'll hear more. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you after a while.